All right, what's up, everybody? House of Agendas is back. This is episode 11. Kenzie, we are coming off a pretty strong episode, in my opinion. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good, Ryan. Really good, man. Not much to complain besides it's being very cold outside, but we move.
Yeah, we got like 3 or 4 inches of snow. So
We might get some tomorrow, but it's more so like a flash flood. Only like might be 2 inches of snow.
yeah, we built like a snowman. We built like a fort, dude. We were all about it. So it was a good weekend. All right, man. Let's jump into it. Big weekend of football. Big weekend. The divisional round. We saw one really good game. We saw a game that we thought was going to be really good, and it was not.
hmm
I mean, it was nice. The Bengals looked good, but
Right.
one team did not hold up the end of the bargain. Let's start Bengals Bills. What impressed you most in that game?
I would have to say the Bengals defense. Like I know in the playoffs, like their defense just becomes a lot better than it's advertised in the regular season. But as much as like hate and like slander I throw Buffalo's way, there's no way I expected them to only get 10 points. So
Yeah.
yeah, that Bengals defense definitely surprised me during that game.
So I think this is kind of what the stat you were alluding to. Um, in 4 of the Bengals' 6 playoff games over the last couple of years, they've held teams under 20 points 4 of those times.
Yeah, I'm
So four
guessing
out of six playoff
that's the
games
Chiefs and Rams, I'm guessing.
under 20 points have been that's really impressive.
Yeah.
They like Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over, but that offense looked lost yesterday for a
hmm
majority of that game. Um, can I ask you a quick trivia question that will help me have a better day?
Oh God.
Who is the last team to beat the Bengals?
The Browns?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
And that was
On
a
on
destruction.
Halloween.
That was destruction.
On Halloween. I'm going to give you a little bit of a alley oop here. Josh Allen can't get it done again.
hmm
What needs to change in Buffalo? What needs to change with Josh Allen? Go ahead. I know this has been a point of pride with you for a couple of days now. Go ahead.
Honestly, man, it's just he definitely not like the wide receivers. Like they have a lot of he has a lot of options to throw to,
Mm-hmm.
and the running game sometimes it's hit or miss. Like I know he's like a big part of the running game, but between Singletary and Cook, like it's just an inconsistency there. Like some week they'll have like 25, 30 yards, and other games they'll have like 70, 80. But I think they just abandon it too quickly. Like as soon as they get stuff 2 or 3 times, then it just becomes the Josh Allen show. And like
Yeah.
I understand he's a big guy, very athletic, one of the best running quarterbacks ever, but having him as your leading rusher on week in and week out, it's just not going to work. And as for him being anointed too quickly, it's like coming into the season, they were debating if he was QB1. Now, I understand he had an all-time duel with Mahomes, but
Mm-hmm.
to elevate him over or like have them on the same playing field before he actually did anything to garner that, it was just a bit too much. Now, most of like my slander directed at him comes from just like the fact that people try to throw him at QB1. I'll be dumb if I said he's not great. It was
Yeah.
just a more so like he's not Mahomes. Yeah, let's relax.
Um, I was more surprised that the turnovers didn't lead to them losing.
Oh yeah, I definitely had him
I
built for
thought
at
that
least
that
one.
personally would be more likely is he would have that big fumble. He'd have a late turnover, and that never happened. It never got to the point where it could have happened because the Bengals were out, and it was 14-0 before the first quarter's over, and
Yeah.
it's 14-0, and you're thinking maybe this could go to 45, points at some point. Bengals kind of came back to reality a little bit, but they didn't need to score more really. So they just controlled the ball, and Josh Allen he just missed. I know the snow was an effect, but Joe Burrow had a really good first half in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't affect the Bengals like I thought it would. I think we got to start looking at like, do the elements really help these teams that live in cold places? I don't think it does because like you always hear, oh, they got to come to Buffalo. It's going to be a snowstorm. Well, the Bengals walked in there and kicked their ass. Like,
Right.
does the elements help? That's a thing in Cleveland. Like people will act like when there's stupid cold temperatures in Cleveland, that it helps the Browns somehow. Majority of the time they still lose. So I don't think that's a big advantage anymore. With how good like quarterbacks are, with how good
Mm-hmm.
these offensive schemes are. I think
Yeah, and plus, like nowadays, like teams know how to raise the temperature or like lower it to wherever you're practicing at. So
yeah,
maybe
you're
like
just used to going.
back in the 70s, if like the Oakland Raiders went to go play the Patriots in November, yeah, they won't be used to that. But nowadays, they're probably just like blasting the AC or raising the heat and practicing.
I feel like the Patriots are probably the last team that used weather as an advantage. Like those games in Foxborough, if you had to go to Foxborough in the playoffs, you were cooked.
Yeah, like even last year, the Packers, they had the 49ers come to Lambeau in a snowstorm and lost.
Right. So yeah, so that's what I mean is I think the Patriots are the last team that like used it well, but they also had Tom, they also had Bill Belichick, so that probably helped too. 49ers in Dallas. I do want to say I'm not a Dallas guy. I'm not a Dak guy, but that Dallas defense deserves credit because those guys played their asses off.
Yeah.
They kept that game close. They gave Dak many chances to potentially win that game.
They clamped McCaffrey.
There was nowhere for him to run. I know Kittle, man, what a
monster. that catch
down the middle.
That catch was the game.
I mean, it just 31 yards when you need it the most. You throw it to your best guy, and your best guy made a monster play. 49ers win. Brock Purdy keeping the role.
Yeah.
But here's a question for you: does Dak and Dallas need to break up? Do they need to split? I don't think I don't really think Dak is bad, but I don't think he's a Dallas quarterback. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's something about Dallas and it doesn't work.
It's like a Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr thing to where you're like, oh man, why isn't Dak like Lamar or like Burrow or Mahomes? But as like we can attest to, you don't want to just go through, damn, I don't like this quarterback.
Yeah.
So I understand like that he frustrates people, but trust me, it can be a lot worse.
But like we saw yesterday, if Fred Warner doesn't drop an interception, which he probably could have housed if he caught it, that man is incredibly
fastest back,
athletic.
Well, one of the fastest back.
That play he had on CD where he turned and ran with him over the middle on it, like CD had him on the seam, and he still caught up and tipped that ball away. Fred Warner's a freak, but if he doesn't drop that interception, that's probably a touchdown going the other way. I don't know. I just think I think this reiterates the point that there's only probably 4 or 5 guys that can win you a football game all alone.
Yeah.
Mahomes, and 4 or 5 might even be generous. It might be Mahomes. Allen, until this year, I thought Allen had that same tier that he could get to. Burrows had needed defenses, but there's something about Joe Burrow on your team that you think you can win any game. I think he provides a level to take you to the next spot, even just by playing. Lamar has a little bit of that. If he goes off, he can win you a football game by himself. There's just a handful of guys, and I think we give too many guys, he's top 10, he's top 10. Well, Justin Herbert, to an extent, had that this year where he had rotating guys and he was winning games, but I don't think he could do it in a playoff game the way some of these other guys do. I think we just give that top 10 and you just think, this guy can win me any football game.
Or like people really got to recognize you could be top 10, but they are like clear defined tiers.
Yeah, I think a tier system going forward makes more sense. So I think that's how we have to start doing it.
Yeah.
And okay, so really good divisional game between the 49ers and Dallas. Nice defense. We didn't get that same against the Bills and the Bengals. That takes us into some major matchups in the conference championship games. How
do you feel about the Eagles one? Like
Eagles, I'm going to start. That's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with Eagles 49ers because I think, here's the thing. I think these games are both phenomenal. I wanted to pick one and say, hey, I think this is the game of the weekend, and I can't do it because I'm excited, really excited for both. What is your game of the weekend? Eagles, 49ers, Bengals, Chiefs. I think it's a slight Bengals Chiefs because of the rematch.
Yeah, that's
and it's very slight.
That's one of the main reasons I'm going for it. But both of them are about to be amazing. But the rematch in in the AFC Championship game with how greasy Eli Apple is talking, and you could tell as soon as the Bengals won, Mahomes just sent out a clock emoji, he's Pat's a petty guy, so he really wants this. So I'm excited for this one.
I do want to say something about Eli Apple. He is over the top, but I think we got to look at like his career because
Mhm.
that man like really struggled at points in his career,
Right.
and he was borderline getting cut in Carolina. He came to Cincy, and I think he's a very average cornerback, but he's done a good job in playoff games
Hmm.
where he's elevated his play to a point where it. Sure, he's talking a lot for a guy at his level, but in the playoffs, he does raise his play, and he made some good plays in that Buffalo game.
Yep.
Now, the calling out DeMar Hamlin and doing the hand sign, you know what?
Yeah.
Probably too far, but I think corners also talk, man. Those guys are all about it.
Hmm.
I don't hate it as much, but I think he did take it a little bit over the top on some of that.
Andy Reid is responsible for this. Should have took the field goal. Didn't take the field goal. Chiefs collapse. Eli Apple talking.
Okay, so let's do our picks real quick, and then we'll get into it a little bit more. Eagles, 49ers, who you got?
I got the 49ers. I understand Brock Purdy finally didn't have like an amazing game, but I just 49ers. I honestly just mostly like a partially biased pick because I really like McCaffrey, but the rosters are close enough to where the 49ers still seems like a logical pick.
Okay, then Bengals, Chiefs. We as listeners, and we know who you're going with. Tell us why.
I'm just under the notion that even though like this, obviously like every game is an exact 1-to-1, every single time the Chiefs have lost to the Bengals, it took something. I wouldn't say fluky because like stuff happens, but whether it be a Bucker missing like a 45-yarder, which is something he usually makes, or Kelsey fumbling in Bengals territory, which would have gave them points, or one of the biggest collapses from a star quarterback ever. I don't see the Chiefs going 0-4 against an opponent.
I also think that 2 and 3 of your points is discrediting the Bengals quite a bit.
I mean, Kelsey fumbling.
Jermaine Pratt made an incredible play on that Kelsey fumble to get that ball out, and the Bengals most certainly put Pat in terrible positions for him to have that collapse last year. I think you're underselling the Bengals a little bit with those comments, but I do understand that you do hold a little bit of bias. My picks for the weekend, I'm going 49ers, and I'm going with the Bengals. I think the Eagles-49ers game is going to come down to a field goal. I think we got a very close game. And I kind of wish Bengals and Chiefs were going to be in Atlanta in a dome because I want to see these offenses just get out and let it go. And we might not get that because Kansas City's not a fantastic weather spot in January, February. Give me the Bengals. There's something crazy about being undefeated against a guy. Like, just there's something about it. And if Pat is not 100%, and if that ankle's bothering him, the Bengals will get after him.
That's what's scaring me because if he can't do his like third down escapes, oh man.
But that's what I mean is Joe Burrow and the Bengals have beaten this guy when he's at 100%. If he's not at 100%, it could be a tough game. It could be really tough. I'm very excited about that game.
We need some Pacheco blocks.
The Pachecos. You got to get the Pachecos early, or else
we need the Pachecos.
It's going to be a long afternoon. Some Pachecos would really help that Chiefs offense. Okay. Here's one I wanted to slide in here. I thought of because of the 49ers' recent success. Is there a better trio in the NFL at skill positions than the 49ers? Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. I wanted to throw out a couple names for you guys. The Vikings trio of Cook, Hawkinson, and Justin. The Bengals with Mixon, Hurst, and Chase. The Cowboys to a lesser extent with Pollard / Zeke, Lamb, and Schultz. And then the Eagles with Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, and how do you say his name? Their tight end, Goddard.
Goddard.
Goddard. Jeez, man, I drew a blank. I just thought of four names to kind of put in there, but I personally don't think there's a better trio. I was wondering if you had any trio.
I would probably give it to them too because McCaffrey, top 5. At the least, you could say top 3. Kittle, I still have him top 3, but I've seen
Mhm.
some people drop him down, but still top 5, like top 5, top 6. And
Mhm.
then Debo, while you don't just say he's a top 5 wide receiver, like the pure catching, he's definitely like one of the most versatile wide receivers. So yeah, I would give it to them because you had a top 3, to top 5, and then
Mhm.
Debo.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what helps them is Debo's like not just a receiver; he can
Yeah.
make other plays and do other things. Um, I think they've got a really good case. I think people are underselling the Browns in this scenario with Chubb and Joku and Cooper.
Fair enough.
But I'm just 49ers. I think have the best trio in football on that. I think Vikings have a case to make.
Yeah.
Hawkinson's probably not as good as Kittle.
Mm-mm.
It's close, but and Justin Jefferson is a better receiver. But I'd take McCaffrey over Cook. I think that's the closest one.
Right.
And I think it's 2 positions to 1 in that scenario. So I'll give the edge to the 49ers.
The
The
Raiders,
Raiders aren't healthy. Those
yeah, I'm
guys
about to
aren't
say they
healthy.
have an argument, but Waller, I don't know, he's a Madden god, but it seems
Oh,
like
he's great
on,
on
on the field he just I don't know.
that. I would probably take McCaffrey's versatility over Jacobs,
Mm-hmm.
and I would probably take Adams over Debo.
Yeah.
But Waller's, I don't know. It's close. I think that's a really good one. The Raiders, they do have very good positions, and they are sitting at home, which just still is crazy. I want to take it into another conversation that is starting to flare up a little bit. Who is the best tight end, let's say, of the past 15 years between Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce? Now, I have some stats that might back this up and make it a little easier decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
But just off the top, who would you take?
I would.
Now, I think I know who you're going to pick, but I'm wondering if you could make it a non-biased pick.
Not out because it's like I definitely think Trav is like a better like route runner and like wide receiver, but the blocking and yak of Gronk is just so elite.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Trav though. Give me
Okay.
Trav.
I assumed you'd pick Travis Kelce, and I do agree the fact that Travis Kelce is a better pass catcher and receiver than Gronk.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think Gronk. Here's the thing: like Gronk never missed a touchdown when they needed it. Like there was just something about him.
Yeah, he was very clutch.
If they needed 15 yards, he got them 25 yards. Like there was just something about a Gronk play that was like a game changer, no matter what the situation was. And he would knock down 3 guys to get those 25 yards.
Yeah,
and he was a fantastic blocker. Like you could like forget him about catching the ball, and he could just block for a half, and it would be crazy. To reiterate the part about Kelce, Gronk played 143 games over 11 seasons. Kelce's played 10 seasons. He's played 144 games. They're very close. This is a perfect time to talk about it. Kelce has just under 200 more catches. He's got about less than 1,000 more yards. Here's the big difference, though. Gronk has 92 touchdown catches. Kelce has 69. That's what I mean. Is like this guy was so nasty in the red zone. It was unbelievable.
It's unfair.
That's what and then Gronk's a 5-time Pro Bowler. Kelce's a 4-time or an 8-time. Sorry. They are both 4-time All Pros. And then obviously the Super Bowls are what they are.
3. He has 3 or 4.
Gronk's got 4. Kelce's got the 1. Gronk has 15 touchdowns in the playoffs. Kelce has 14. So that's a close, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could not go wrong with either guy. I'm going to take Gronk just because I think he's a tad more complete because of his blocking. Right. And it's not like he's a slouch catching the ball. The guy's a force. Yeah. So, but there's no, that is a very, very slim margin. And Kelce's also going to play, 3 more years?
Yeah.
At a high level, probably. So he'll end up being the GOAT, I would assume. But I think right now Gronk is still just edging him out a little bit. All right, man, let's transition. 16 days away from the trade deadline in the NBA. How do you feel, Rui Hachimura going to the Lakers?
I woke up to that news, and whenever the Wizards do something dumb, I wake up, I see 3 ads in my messenger chat. I see 2 ads on Twitter. I got a missed call. And then when I found out, I was like, okay, we traded Rui. Then I was like, for second round picks and Kendrick Nunn. Are you kidding me? Now, granted, I watch a lot of Rui. Obviously, we had him like 3 years, but he never gave me that superstar vibe, or maybe even an all-star vibe at his best. But for Kendrick Nunn, that's all we can get. Kendrick Nunn in picks. It's just the Wizards, they make it hard.
Yeah,
they make it hard to prove.
Now, I listened to a little bit of Zach Lowe talking the other day on his podcast. I like the move for the Lakers more than anything, but I also don't mind it for the Wizards because he didn't want to be there anymore anyway.
Yeah.
You saw the interview. He didn't really want to be there. He wanted to try to make an impact somewhere else. What'd you guys have him playing 24 minutes a game? And he gets you 13 points. He does shoot 34% from 3, but it's on 3 attempts, so it's not like he's, setting the world on fire.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned is he going to be able to play defense?
The thing with him is like he's a big guy, so you can't just like throw him in the post. But if they have him at the 3, I don't think he has the lateral quickness for that. And if they try to just turn him to a spot up shooter, I don't know if that's gonna work.
So his fit in LA could be questionable. I know that they said they want to start him, so I'm guessing he'll end up guarding the 4s, and LeBron will go back to guarding the 3s, which could be interesting. I like the move. He's an athletic guy. 13 points on decent efficiency. I don't think it hurts him at all. But the Wizards, which I'm going to ask you here in a couple minutes about the Wizards going forward. Bradley Beal is your identity, but has this identity gotten you any further without John Wall? Like, I don't know if he's been like I think it's time to be realistic because it hasn't really gone anywhere with him being your number 1 guy.
I don't know what it is because the first year like Bill was the man and Wall was out the whole year. I understand why we struggled. Like we were starting Isaiah Thomas and the backup was Ish Smith. If it wasn't Bill getting 35 or Bertans getting hot, we weren't really winning games. But as of now, coming into the season, now granted, I know the trio of Kuzma, KP, and Bill, they haven't all been healthy at the same time, but to be out the plane right now, that's a bit disgusting. You gotta do better than that.
Great. And I'll ask you about them again in a second. Now let's go to one of your West Coast flavors. Are the Warriors in trouble? They're 23-24 right now. Their injuries and their rotations have been an issue this year for them. Where do you think the Warriors finish at their best? Where do you think they finish at their worst? And are they still a championship contender this year? Go ahead and fill me in on that one.
Finish at their best, I would say, just being the West is so bunched up, but I'm gonna just say like a 5th seed. At the worst, playing. Like I definitely have them making the playoffs. Like this, I don't see them missing at all. As for are they still contenders? I would say yes. I think they're at that point to where if they're in the dance, I wouldn't say necessarily favor them to win it, but if you tell me it's like Warriors, Grizzlies first round or Warriors, Suns, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, the window's closed. Like, no, if you tell me the Warriors were in the finals, I'm not surprised.
Okay. I think they're going to be in the play in, or if not better. So that's probably their basement. The ceiling, I think, is probably they're lucky that the West is so bunched up. Because you could go on a 5-game winning streak and be
because as bad as the Warriors have been, I think just last week they were 6th seed.
Right. My issue with them is injuries. Curry's only played 32 games. Wiggins has only played 29 games. Clay's played 36. They've only got three of their main rotational pieces have played over 40 games with Green, Poole, and Looney. Health seems like it could be an issue with these guys going forward.
Yeah.
When Curry plays, he's insane. Obviously, he's Steph Curry. When the guys are on the court, they're very good. They have great numbers, but they're not all on the court all the time, and that's an issue. So I do think that they're going to be a playoff team either way, but they have to get right. They have to get right going into that playoff period, healthy and right to be.
I guess if there's any positives you could take away from the season so far, it's Klay Thompson. I wasn't expecting him to get back to 20 points per game, but he's back.
He started off really rough, but
so I guess they're
really
saying at least we have Clay back. We'll worry about all that other stuff. We'll make the playoffs, but at least we have Clay back.
right.
Even it seems like he's a jack now. Like he's always taking questionable shots. He is a jack.
Oh, he's getting them up. He saw Jordan Poole taking crazy ass shots, and he thought, I can do it too. Like, I don't know. When those two were playing together, it was like, who's going to take more shots, and who's going to get up to 20 shots faster? Because those guys were just getting it up.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to touch on the Cavs. I think the Cavs roster is 1 to 2 pieces away from really cementing themselves as a contender in the East. They're the 5 seed now. The East, obviously Boston has separated themselves going forward. But nobody else is like really separating themselves. Rumor is Josh Richardson's available for a second rounder. Why not take a flyer on him just to see if he can come in and knock down some shots? Serge Ibaka has been floated around that people are interested in him coming. Those are guys that you could bring in that are just they don't have to have a ton of minutes.
Yeah, like 7 to 14.
Like Serge. Serge would be a nice energy guy. He can knock down a mid-range jump shot. I know he's not the shot blocker he used to be, but at least I would like them to take a flyer on a couple of these guys and see if they could work.
How's Robert Lopez been?
He's not like he's fine for small stretches, but what's really a problem is Kevin Love needs to get his minutes cut. After he hurt his thumb, he's been just terrible. His percentages are down. They're just missing something off the bench that Karis LeVert, you can't trade him right now because he's the main shot creator off the bench. And while he does have some very inconsistent nights, he's a good player. I mean, like, he's a solid player. He's a good passer. He's a solid rebounder for his size. I don't want to see him gone, but I do want to see them make a move, which makes it more difficult. Just want to touch on the Cavs. Mitchell's back tonight. He's missed the last couple games, which has really hurt them. You could see in crunch time when they don't have Mitchell, it's kind of a mess, unfortunately. But let's jump back into this real quick. The Wizards lost Kristaps for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Beal has the no trade clause. Kuzma doesn't look like they want to trade him. Looks like they're going to keep him. What do you see that they can do to get better? Besides the draft, I mean, obviously they could draft somebody, but you got to be losing to draft somebody good.
One of the main reasons I'm anti-tank, especially for the Wizards, our draft picks, they just don't hit.
Yeah.
Like outside of Wall and Beal, like over the past 13 years, the best draft pick while they were still on the Wizards has been Otto Porter because he was like a top 5 3-point percentage shooter. Oubre, while he was with us, his defense was good. Offense very inconsistent,
right?
And it's just Denny. He's like he's just solid. He's solid, I guess. Like he's a very good.
Great
defender.
at running people off the 3-point line. Fantastic.
Yeah, don't forget that. Very very good defender, but his offense and playmaking is average at best. Rui at his best, which was this year, was like 13, 14 off the bench. So I don't know. So we're kind of in that mode where you just hope to bolster your bench or like sign somebody because tanking is just not the move with us. We don't draft good enough.
So you don't think it's time to try to move Beal? You really don't?
We would go through like a Kings-like stretch where we're irrelevant for 15 years. I don't think.
But you're not relevant now, realistically. You're just not. So I don't understand. Why would you not go all in with Kuzma and KP and try to get them another guy that's younger and you can get some – I don't know. I think it's got to be close to being time to try to make that move. I don't know. That's just me.
Because Kuzma as a top 2 scares me because he still has like his 4 for 15 nights. So nah.
Sure, but if you're not going to – they already said they're not going to trade him, and Beal's got a no-trade clause. But if you send him to the right situation, he's got to think about it. I don't know. I just don't know. Like, it seems like you're stuck either way is what you're trying to – like, in more words, you're trying to tell me you're stuck either way. And that seems like it sucks because you're not – the Wizards aren't that good, unfortunately.
I don't –
Kristaps has been really good for you guys. It's been great, but it's not really leading to wins.
Like, if we – I still have us making the play-in. Like, if we make that if we don't make the play-in, that's an abject failure. But honestly, a W for me will be a first-round series.
That's pretty low, man. That's pretty low.
It happens. It happens.
All right. So it looks like you don't have a plan for the Wizards, unfortunately.
I do not.
But let's talk about a guy that we've been pretty high on. LeBron James is 224 points away from the all-time record. There's 12 games left before the All-Star break for the Lakers. He needs just under 19 points a game to reach it by the All-Star break.
Oh.
Do you think LeBron gets the record before the All-Star break? Or do you think he sits out a couple games and maybe doesn't get it till after?
I would have to look at the schedule because for me, I'm also care about like where he passes it. Like if it's just in Utah or something.
Oh, you want it in a certain game.
Yeah, like I need it to be like in the. Did they already go back to y'all?
Let me. Okay, so my thought was on this was, I didn't care about what game he broke it. I thought if he broke it before the All-Star game, they could have a celebration at the All-Star game for him. And that way it's like a big deal. Like, hey, we'll just go ahead. He's going to be the all-star starter at the small forward. Introducing your all-time leading scorer in NBA history, LeBron. And then you get him a plaque or whatever while he's getting his introduction. You know what I mean? So let me double check. Let me see if there's any big games for them.
Did they go back to the oh yeah, they played you already. That was on TNT.
Yeah, we played them. Let's see.
Did they go
because it's going to be okay. So the last their last 3 game stretch before the All-Star break is Pelicans, Trailblazers, Warriors. So it'd be Warriors on that Saturday, Trailblazers on Monday. With Pelicans is the last game before the All-Star break. So there's not like
because I wanted it to y'all out the question because they went there already. Right. I wanted it to be like in Miami or like LA or the Garden. It's just like if he just breaks it like with a free throw in Utah, you know how disgusting that is.
Yeah,
like Curry broke his in the Garden.
Right. So I mean, more than likely it would be against like the Warriors or the Trailblazers.
The Warriors would be fire since that's
the Warriors would be cool, but I think they would still need to win the game. I don't know.
And is there like a way you want to see him break it? Like I just said, a free throw would be disgusting. Some people been watching him practice the sky hook. That would be cool, I guess. But I want to see like the LeBron dunk or like
that's what came to mind right when you said break it. I want to see the fast break LeBron out by himself.
Yeah, the LeBron
with the icon with his
that would be. They would have to change the logo. They would have to change the logo.
That I do believe they should have already changed the logo and gave it to Kobe after he passed, but. I don't know. The NBA kind of shuffled their feet on that one.
Imagine he just like gets it off of offense and put back.
Just a nice in transition. Him and Thomas Bryant are fighting for a rebound.
That'll be like the loudest eruption for put back in history.
No, like a random tip, like it's a free throw and he just tips it back towards the basket.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the biggest moments in history.
All right, let's take us into something that we've been very active on recently. Sports bets this week. I'll lead it off because I've got one ready for us. This one's for tonight, so be ready. You're going to have plenty of time. It's going to be Lakers and Clippers. Let me find it for you guys. Hopefully you lose money. All right, let's see. Lakers, Clippers tonight. Give me Dennis Schroeder over 11.5 points. Kawhi under 26.5. LeBron under 32.5. 2 Paul George threes. Kawhi under 8.5 rebounds, LeBron under 9.5 rebounds, Thomas Bryant over 8.5, and 10 rebounds for Zubac. We will post these with the videos and everything. And then my weekend pick is going to be Bengals, Kansas City. Anytime touchdowns for Travis Kelce, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. I got Bengals and Chiefs both over 17.5. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes over 230 yards. Jamar Chase over 89 yards. Travis Kelce over 64 yards. I will post all of our picks on our social medias. Kenzie, give me 2 bets coming up this week.
Luckily, the Chiefs and Niners are both underdogs, so like you can get them like plus value. So I actually have a check down because losing sucks.
Yeah.
So I have a check down. It's San Fran plus 10.5.
Okay.
Kittle over 46.5 yards. The over points over 40. And I mixed that with a Chiefs plus 10.5. Joe Burrow over 270. Travis over 50. Jamar Chase over 60.
I like it. I like that one. Do you have one more for us? I know you don't like doing your NBA picks before 6.
Let me see.
How about you give us some winners for tonight? Do a money line for us tonight.
Oh, a matter of fact, the Knicks play. Oh, Knicks play the Cavs. Ooh.
I got one for that one too, but I'm not going to share that with everybody.
All right, the money.
Pretty greasy for the Cavs.
Jesus Christ. You could money line the Mavericks.
Hmm.
Who is that playing? No, never mind. That's these are a lot of close games. So I would say moneyline Mavericks. That's safe. Mavericks, Suns, and Clippers.
Mavericks, Suns, and Clippers for winners tonight. I like it. All right,
And
we will make sure.
I would have said Nuggets, but that line is close, which means Jokic might not be playing.
If he's not playing,
because the Nuggets are only a -1, and that's versus the Pelicans. So Nikola is out. So yeah, don't touch that.
Okay. All right, and then last thing for today. Would you rather? All right, here it is, guys. Let me set it up for you. Would you rather be the ball boy for your favorite NBA team that includes travel with the team for 2 seasons, or would you take $75K all at one time? Would you take the experience of being the ball boy traveling with the team, or would you take $75K right away?
I'll take the money, but man, that ball boy, that sounds like an amazing experience. You're basically traveling the country.
And you're doing the shoot around, like you're passing the guys the balls, like you're doing, like imagine if you get to go on like a West Coast trip, like for like us as like Wizards and Cavs fans, like we go out and we like see Steph, we go see Sabonis and Fox, we get to see LeBron, and then we go to like Phoenix and see Booker for it'd be so cool to go with them. So that's gonna be my pick. I'm gonna go with the ball boy. Just because, like, I think that would be an experience you would never get back. Like, the money, sure, you could travel with, but, like, you get to go to the arenas where these guys play. You get to see them on the court. Like, I just think the experience is worth it.
Yeah.
Especially 2 seasons. Like, you get to do it for 2 years. Like, passing, like, you could pass your favorite player the ball, like, and he could take a shot, like, in the warm-ups, or you could see these guys dunk in warm-ups on the court. Like, I don't know. There's just something about the experience that would really do it for me. But you're like a selfish, money hungry guy. So
yeah, the Julius and Mr. Crab signals went off in my head.
Could you imagine like you could heckle Trae Young from the court? Like, all right, man. That wraps up what we've got for today. I think we had some fun today. I think we got some big games coming up this weekend. Any last thoughts from you tonight?
LeBron, even if you're open on that putback, don't take it. Just wait for a steal. Go catch a lob. Just don't.
We want an iconic dunk for the record.
Don't do it, bro. No free throws. No offensive putbacks.
All right, I feel the same way. I'm excited. We got big sports this week. Check us out. We're going to be posting our bets. We'll be active on social media. We got some clips coming for your Instagram. We're following people. We're getting our followers up. We hit 50 subscribers on YouTube. We're very excited. We will subscribe back to everybody. Let's do it. Keep growing. Kinsey, see you next time, man.
See you.